I thought it was quite beautiful. All the drone shots, all the nature shots, I think really worked well because there was a mix of music and editing that I thought gave it a good sort of pacing and rhythm. And I just felt like the narration was a very strong match. I love that. I love nature documentaries in general. And I thought this piece worked sort of as like an educational primer, obviously, but as a sort of meditative experience that I thought really worked well. Watching nature interact and being so close on the ground with having such stark and clear images, I thought really worked well to help the story take form and help the audience sort of get an appreciation for the implications of the environment, what's going on there, and how dire all issues in terms of deterioration and how excessive or how dramatic the restoration process would have to be. It has to be currently to sort of maintain such a diverse bio life and in such a beautiful environment. So I thought it was well done, great to look at, and just easy to enjoy because I thought the mix between the narration, the music, and the pacing of the images really worked well overall.
It was a beautiful piece. It was also kind of sad just coming to the realization of, what's going on with bears in the environment and, the lacking numbers and how they're basically being poisoned. I think it's a hard realization and it's a hard fact to come across, especially within this narrative where it is, we're contrasting these images of nature with this individual who's on the search for bears. And then along the way, as we're going through nature, we find out about of these, all of the sad facts about what's going on with the bear population. That being said, I think that is an incredible tactic to not only inform the audience, but have there be not only an emotional pull by feeling so in awe by the beauty and seeing that in contrast with the reality, but also like a call to action on like, hey, we need to do something about this because this is a very real and present issue, and we're reacting to that in real time through this story. So narration wise, I think that was incredibly smart to do and very impactful.
Outstandingly beautiful, and the cinematographer captures this quite quite visually appealing. So, and we get this lay of the land, and we follow this group of documentarians who are essentially on an adventure to find the bears. There's only about 70 bears that live in this land. The person who does the voiceover within this piece does an excellent job with their dialogue and the way that they speak to you. What was so revelating to me was the ending that the narrator ends on, talking about how without nature we wouldn't be here. And it kind of catches us up with the facts here that there's only 70 bears to exist in these lands, and 10 of them have been murdered due to poaching. And we kind of see this crisis of this, a endangered species. Like, even though they're being looked after, there's still a crisis being had and to be aware of. And we had followed this bear with their family only to find that she was one of the bears that ended up being murdered from these group of hunters. So it's like having this emotional connection and attachment to a being, not necessarily human, and being able to feel for, something other than ourselves.
The filmmakers immediately set up this really interesting dynamic. They start off with showing beautiful images of nature, focusing on really small details, whether that's like a piece of bark or a specific animal. And then they oscillate that with shots of a person who is on a journey to look for a brown bear, which they say are devastatingly low in numbers. And in doing so, I think audiences are immediately able to appreciate the smaller detail, whether that's like a piece of hair hanging off a piece of bark or like fruits that are on the ground, or even at like times bear scat. And I think when we see this person who's out searching for them mixed with these small details, it immediately raises the stakes and lets us know that we're on a journey to go find these brown bears. And so, in employing this technique, I think audiences also feel like they're on a journey alongside this person, and that we're looking for these small details.
The colors, the sounds, the detail. It's just an amazing deep dive into forest fauna, the flora, and interactions between elements when they are not disturbed by the human intervention. Chasing after this bear or tracking her and her cubs, we see these vultures, the owls, the deer, insects, foxes, other birds, and other smaller animals. It's just living their own on their own, doing their thing, mating, preserving themselves in this circle. I also learned about the plantigrade and the tragic story of this particular bird, prey of human. It was sad, but it was beautiful.
This is incredibly soothing. The narrator's voice has a very calming tone to it as he describes the wild Pyrenees. You could feel the beauty and the passion in his voice, where at the same time it was soothing to the point where you could do anything from narrate this, a nature documentary, to going all the way out and reading bedtime stories. His voice just has that type of soothing tone to it. I found the cinematography in this gorgeous. It almost felt like you were hiking the Pyrenees with the narrator. As he explained everything in it, it was really, really gorgeous. I loved everything about this. It was just completely beautiful, where you were really engrossed in what was going on, and you felt like you were witnessing this firsthand, and that it wasn't actually through a screen or a camera.
It gave Planet Earth. It gave David Attenborough. It gave Wild Planet. Those nature documentaries, which I rock with those. I've rocked with those since I was a kid because I like seeing animals in wildlife, or wildlife in its natural habitat, untouched by humans, doing whatever they do. And I think it's always impressive to get those types of shots. Like, that could not have been easy to get that type of stuff, like, naturally. Like, you had to go out there and do it. And like, I always respect that, like, nature documentaries like that. And this was a great entry into that pantheon. So